everybody in the world of sports probably should know that baseball started today, early in the morning on the East Coast, as the Dodgers and the Padres opened the Major League season on March 20th in Seoul, Korea. In Seoul, South Korea. Sellout crowd. Dodgers won 5-2. Padres led 2-1. Their bullpen imploded. A really funny moment. And I did watch half the game. There was a ground ball to Jake Cronenworth at first base, and it went right through the webbing of his glove and let a run score. And that kind of opened up that late inning for them to come back from 2-1 down. So the Dodgers win 5-2 over the Padres. But, okay, people in sports should know. But even I didn't wake up. What did it start at 6 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, to watch it on ESPN? I mean, when I got up to get the kids ready for school, then I put it on.
Right.
So nobody has to explain to me. Rob Manfred doesn't have to explain to me, well, we want to expand our reach and our market and sell baseball in other countries. I get all that. I co-sign on it. This is America's pastime. Maybe it's not anymore, but that's the name that is given. America's pastime. And the opening game of the Dodgers with two of the biggest stars signed during the offseason in Ohtani and Yamamoto, and a team that's laden with stars, Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts. I mean, I could go on and on. Tyler Glasnow started. He came over on a deal from the Tampa Bay Rays. And the season started in secret. Shouldn't the start of your season be on American soil at a decent hour that people could watch? I give ESPN credit. Carl Ravitch did the game. He's there. Eduardo Perez did the game. He's there. ESPN put the manpower and the money into doing it. They'll do tomorrow's game too. So it's 2 games. But you took the opening of a season and you took it away from the country that, in fact, does support you. And then these 2 teams, Don and Peter, come back and they play spring training games before they actually start on the 28th like everybody else. It's lunacy.
No, it's not right. Now, I know times change, and it's not about me anymore because they already got me. I'm 56 years old, and they probably don't even care about me.
No.
But I remember when the Reds would have technically the first pitch.
Right, big
because they were the
parade,
first team.
yeah.
You know, it was a big deal, and opening day was fun, and it was something that everybody paid attention to. Now, I realize baseball is not what it was 30 years ago or 20 years ago, but it's still a big deal opening day, and you're taking it away from those 2 markets, and you're taking it away from the diehard baseball fan around the country. And you want to sell the sport in Asia, and you want to sell in Korea and overseas. Well, how about trying to button it up here? Because the biggest crime, Michael, is that no one noticed. That's the problem. Would that ever happen with an opening NFL game? Now, they play in Mexico City, and they play in Europe, but they've already got it down in this country. But is Major League Baseball already down? Like, do they already have the general public, or is the popularity waning in certain areas of the country where they should be worried about this country before they start wanting to expand their reach? And the fact that we had opening day and there's a lot of people that didn't even notice or care tells you that they should be worried about taking care of this country, taking care of the popularity of this sport before they start worrying about the reach in Asia and overseas. Same goes for the NHL, too. They try to have these series in the Czech Republic and Sweden and all. Oh, it's all nice, but you still have a lot of work to do here to try to sell the public here. So I'm sorry. You know, baseball wanted to do this years ago where they were clearly number one with a bullet. You know, but now in certain parts of the country, they're 3. Because they really want to mess with the one cool thing they have, and that's opening day. I mean, I don't get it.
And also, just think about it. So, again, I'm unsure. I think it started, Anthony, was it 5:30 or 6 in the morning on the East Coast? So it's around that time.
Right.
That means nobody watched it on the West Coast. You've alienated the Dodgers and the Padre fans because although Don didn't know this till he was at 11, it's 3 hours earlier than it is here.
Right, so it's 3 o'clock in the morning for the local teams, which I think you had a better chance if it was at 6 in the morning, where people can actually be getting up from work and watching the game. But at 3 o'clock in the morning, as Michael says, they're in the arms of morphine.
And Don and Peter, the best way to do this, if you're insistent upon doing it, you know what? Then inconvenience the people in Seoul, Korea, and have the game at a time that is prime time here. You're going to have the American pastime. The American pastime. Have half of the country not even have a chance to see it. The other half, they're getting ready for work. They're going to see maybe a half hour before they go to their job. What are you doing? As Don said, make it work here. Don't you see it slipping away here? What are you doing?
I don't know that I agree with this.
Tell me why. Tell us why.
I just don't see what the big deal is. But America basically didn't pay attention to it. But they got to have this, and listen, hopefully it was a big event in Korea. Obviously, I wasn't there, Don. If it turned out no one there paid attention and it was a disaster, well then...
No, they're like, Ohtani and Yamamoto, it's like the Beatles there.
All right, so assuming that was like a big deal there, then they come back, and opening day here still feels like opening day a week from now. And it's kind of like no harm, no foul.
But it is harm. It is foul.
But where's the harm?
Because you took away the pageantry and the pomp and circumstance of opening. Because even if they have a second opening day, we're not stupid. It's not the opening day anymore. Baseball started today, and they started in anonymity. The baseball fans don't even know.
But it
was 6:05 Eastern time. That was first pitch. I mean, are you kidding me?
Are you sure, though, that a week from now, whenever it is that we get to opening day, it's not going to feel like opening day because of this?
Well, I mean,
I'm not convinced.
For each individual team that are not the Dodgers and the Padres, it will be opening day. But still, the opening of the season, is in a foreign country where nobody could watch it.
In all due respect, yes, I hear you, but I still think opening day is going to feel like opening day, and maybe they sacrifice the two teams. But hear me out. Hold on. But I mean, NFL, the NFL Sunday. That's what the NFL is. They open the league on a Thursday. It's jabroni pumpkin.
But they open it in prime time.
I get it, but it's still like completely different than what the league essentially feels like.
But it's not in Korea at 3 o'clock in the morning in LA.
And I think the NFL season this year is starting in Mexico City, but at a time that it's going to be watchable in the States.
Listen, I'm not saying it's ideal. I just don't think it's that big a deal.
But here,
because you don't love baseball like we do.
No, it's not true.
But never mind.
And that's not a knock.
No, but never mind the whole opening day being botched. Forget about that. You have the Dodgers and Padres playing regular season games that mean something in the standings. You're trying to make this a national sport, right? You're trying to get people to care about games other than their regional games, right? That's the objective of every sport, right? To be like basketball and football. So now you've started the regular season. No one knows. Then they're going to come back to the States, go back to playing exhibition games again, and then eventually with everybody else have regular season games. Like, these games are completely disjointed. Like, nobody paid attention. Nobody was able to see it because it was out in the middle of the morning. And also, it's disjointed because they're going to come back, play exhibition games. There are going to be people that don't know these games were even played and go, why do the Dodgers and Padres have 2 games in the standings and nobody else does for 2 weeks? Like, I don't know.
No, listen, I agree that all of those things are stupid. Okay, I am by no means trying to say that those pieces that Don just laid out are not stupid. But if you really feel that playing these games in Korea is important to the game, and for whatever reason they need to be real games, I don't know how else you would do this. They have to do it based on how far it is, the time difference. This is kind of how they have to do it. I don't know why they have to do it, but if they decided the amount of money we're getting from these Korea games, whatever it is, it's the most important thing, then I get why it played out this way. I do agree those things are stupid.
But also explain it to me. You're going to Korea to sell Major League Baseball, and yet Yamamoto and Ohtani are stars there already? So it sounds like you've already got them. So why are we making the sacrifice? It sounds like they're all in.
And really,
go someplace where they're not all in and try to sell them on it. If they're already all in, why are you giving them a regular season game? Honestly, if Yamamoto and Ohtani are stars, does it matter if it's an exhibition or not? Just guarantee that they'll play in the game. Does it have to be a regular season game? Can't they play in a series of exhibition games and just promise the citizens of Korea that the star players will play?
And also, figure it out. Have it in the middle of the season. Figure it out right before the All-Star break. Figure it out. Instead, who's the biggest star in baseball, Don? Who's one of the biggest stars in the world right now?
Shohei
Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani, who's making $70 million a year, $68 million deferred, but $70 million a year. And what you did is his first game in a Dodger uniform, one of the most historic franchises in baseball, and you had his debut as a Dodger in the cloak of darkness. What are you doing? What are you doing? Doesn't make sense.
If I were the commissioner, I'd be like, no, you can't have it. It's opening day. It's sacrosanct. I'm sorry. I know money's important. Everybody's driven by money, but I'm trying to sell this sport here. The fans of Los Angeles deserve to see their stars on opening day here. You want an exhibition game? We'll send them in early March. We'll play exhibition games. We'll sign a contract in blood that Ohtani and Yamamoto play in those games. I'm sure they would still pack the place, Michael. I'm sure they'd still care.
You know what? Jennifer Hart just brought up a great point on Twitter. This is a great point. Well, how do we do it? How do we sell the sport in other countries? Have the All-Star game there. Have the All-Star game there. Then you have time to make the trip over. The body acclimates. You play an exhibition game. They see all the stars. You've sold the best that the sport has to offer. You come back and you play the regular games. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Oh,
that's a great idea.
You know what they did? They sold out, Michael. They obviously sold the game for the buck. I'm sure they got more money for a regular season game than they would for an exhibition game, and they decided to sell it out there. And if we had Manfred on, he would spin it that, hey, they're still going to have opening day in Los Angeles and San Diego, and it's still going to be fun. I get it, but it's Major League Baseball. The popularity, maybe not in New York, but certainly around the country, is not what it used to be. Cultivate it here. Make sure we're good here. And if you want to give other countries games, give them exhibition games. Give them the stars. Give them the All-Star game. But the meaningful stuff, I think it has to stay here. Cultivate and grow your fan base here. If I was a Dodger fan, I'd be red hot that they finally got two of the biggest stars in the world, and I got to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to see it.
Unbelievable. It's just
and
unbelievable.
The games still count. And then they're going to come back and play exhibition games, which is going to confuse people even more, which is going to make whatever happens over the next couple of days completely forgettable because nobody's watching it, nobody's paying attention to it. People that are in the know, Michael, still are kind of confused. These games count because they're coming back and playing exhibition games in Arizona. And then they're going to go, I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze, honestly, not knowing how much financially
Well, that's what we have to know, though.
But how much is worth it? How much is really worth it? Well, how much could they have gotten where it's worth to bastardize their opening day? I don't
think they got money from South Korea. I think they got they got to sell their sport there.
That's it.
I think the Dodgers and the Padres.
Well, then they should talk to someone at WWE because they get a big bag when they go to Perth, Australia, and Saudi Arabia.
I think what they're doing is, hey, buy our hats, buy our uniforms, get into Major League Baseball. You're seeing some of the biggest stars in the world play, and I don't think they get paid like an appearance fee. No, I don't think so.
Wait a minute. But you just said that Ohtani and Yamamoto are gods there. So what are you selling?
Well, you're selling Dodgers, you're selling Padres, you're selling, uniforms.
Sounds like you had them at hello. All we hear about are those guys are superstars, and they watch Major League Baseball there because they love the players that left to come here.
And the kid who's a shortstop for the Padres, Kim, he's from South Korea. So you have that, too.
I got London because not everybody loves baseball in London. Maybe you get them to fall in love with the sport in Europe. But if you've already got them in Japan and South Korea and in Asia in general because of all the players that have come over here, then I'm not exactly sure where you're selling. Honestly, I really thought, like the Peter did, that there was a money grab.
No, I don't think it was. I think it's just a growth grab.
Well, now, growth into what?
No, it's. I'm reading an article now in The Athletic about it. They believe that Seoul is a potentially really good market for Major League Baseball, and that the way the city's growing, it is a place where their fan base can grow, and there'll be more opportunities and more growth in Seoul. Which, by the way, I was just watching a movie yesterday. Michael, do you remember the actress who threw out the first pitch the other day for the Dodgers game?
Yes.
I started one of her movies last night. Let me tell you, tremendous.
You're watching a movie in Korea? In Korean?
Well, I didn't go to Korea to watch the movie. I was watching on Peacock.
And obviously it's not in English, right?
It is not. It's subtitles. But it's quite good.
I mean, since the girl was so beautiful, you don't even care about the plot. You just look at her.
By the way, though, you remember the huge Korean movie from a few years ago, which every time I talk about it, Parasite.
Right.
After Parasite, everyone started talking about movies from South Korea, and it's interesting. They're actually, for movies in which you don't understand the language at all and you think there'd be like major cultural lines, they're actually shockingly American feeling. They just feel like well-produced, better American movies, honestly. And you don't really notice the language gap. In fact, I'm noticing a much bigger language gap watching Shogun right now in Japanese on Hulu, which is a show made for Hulu, than I notice it on the South Korean movie. But Michael, it's a good movie, and she's a hell of an actress. Strong rec.
Excuse me?
Strong rec.
That's recommendation, Don.
Oh.
Recommendation, Don.
Okay.
Strong rec.
I thought you said rack.
Oh, my goodness.
That's what I was confused. I thought that was being inappropriate.
You know what? I didn't think, Michael, after I said, I didn't think he'd say it again.
Right.
I knew what he thought.
Right.
I didn't think he'd expressly say.
If anybody on the show would say that, you thought it would be me.
Well,
right.
But I'm going to call foul on the whole thing. I think it is a money grab. I think they try to sell it.
It is a money grab.
I think it's about this. The fact is, I bet you if you walk in Seoul, Korea, you're going to see way more Dodger and Yankee hats than you're going to see
But
giant
you know what?
Jenner
They want
cowboy
the
hats.
people in South Korea to just fall for it, seeing it live, and then they're going to watch. Every Dodger game is going to be broadcast there.
It's on there anyway because Ohtani's on the team and Yamamoto's on the team. Well, you hear stories about how they're watching back home via satellite. It's available to them already. This isn't 1840, okay? This is they've got other ways to be able to see these guys. What it is getting a percentage of the gate and having a bunch of swag sent out there that they got a percentage of selling. That's all this is. Let's not make it out to be goodwill. That if some olive
of course it's about money, Don.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's a money grab, and is it worth it? Whatever percentage of the gate, whatever percentage of the merchandise, is it worth it?
Well, that's they've probably done the calculation. They feel it is. I don't think it is, but what's happening is they probably think, you know what? We've maxed out here in the States. We are where we are. We're not gaining any more. We've got to go outside, outside the lines and see exactly if we can get other countries to embrace.
And by the way, it's a smart thought by them because
you could. I think the idea by Jennifer Hart, the All-Star Game, is a brilliant idea.
The attempt to grow here, though, is not. I don't know that it's happening.
But here's Newman. He makes a great point. MLB needs to have opening day for all teams on Sunday, not during the week, not in a foreign country, but on a spring Sunday. Kids at home. Most parents are home.
By the way, they never do it.
Fox, TBS, ESPN, local stations own the sports day. Work on a way to get baseball back in the minds of children. My kid is playing soccer. My kid is playing hockey. He's watching videos of Messi and Ronaldo. I try to get him into baseball. It's not clicking. He plays baseball, but it's not clicking as far as watching it on television, caring about what's happening. Maybe it'll get better when it's older, Michael, but we've seen we were inundated when we were kids, and now 50 years later, we love the sport, and we consume it, and we pay for it. But there's a generation of fans that are disconnected. Focus on that. Focus on kids getting back into baseball. Focus on making it accessible instead of being on stupid apps that nobody has. Why don't we actually grow the sport within our country to get it back where it was supposed to be? For God's sakes, Rob, wake up.
It's game time, brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. No locals in action. That's right, none. But we will have Bucks Celtics right here on 98.7 at 7:30. Also, the Yankees.
No Giannis.
No Giannis?
That's what I heard.
We do have the Yankees on an exhibition game on Yes following us. That's game time, brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew or try the brand new Tullamore Dew Honey during tonight's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. We've done a lot of talking. We've really covered it. We've got to hear from you. You know the number. I'm not going to give it out because there's no line to open up for you to call.
You can't. It's too full.
It's too full. Jammed.
Jam it up.
Don? Mazda. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. Michael, Don, and Peter with you until 6:30. Let's see what you have going. Let's go to our good buddy Griffin in Connecticut. Griffin.
Griff.
Hey, I'm here.
Wow. What happened?
No,
Is everything all
no.
right?
Sad Griff?
Sad Griff.
No, Griff, what's going on, buddy?
What's going on is I got a Don rant. That's what's going on.
Okay,
And
let's see.
I have a would you for Peter, and I really thought of this last night. So he has weapons LaGord.
All right, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Rob Manfred, once again, wet the bed. Because this is ridiculous. The ridiculous thing is you are playing 2 Major League Baseball regular season games, and then you're going back into spring training mode. It's why can't we do this, let's say, on Monday or Tuesday before, let's say, Monday, Tuesday, and have no spring training games? Like, do something where you can set this up better than doing this. And then the point of Yamamoto's first game that he'll be pitching as a Dodger is, will Dodger fans even be able to see him? Because it'll be 3 a.m. where Dodger fans are.
No.
So it really is. You're losing fans here. You're losing the fans here. But we're trying to grow outside. How about you worry about your fans that you're losing?
Well, they've done it before. They do it with, the Yankees and the Rays started in Japan. I mean, A-Rod's first hit was not even seen by Yankee fans because it happened in the morning. They've done it a lot. I like the London game. It's in the middle of the season. I think the Yankees are going to be playing in France next year. That's in the middle of the season. But I guess it's the travel to Asia that forces them to do this.
Now, yeah, they have no choice to have them come back and have exhibition games. You can't. It's too far away. It's too much travel. It'll be too unfair. Now, Kevin Ryan says this has been happening for a quarter of a century. I don't get the outrage all day on New York sports radio about 2 California teams starting the season overseas. It feels very performative by both stations. Because a quarter of a century ago, baseball was at a different place. Baseball was at a different place 25 years ago than it is now. Now I don't think you can afford to do this, Michael, because I think the sport was way more popular 25 years ago. Football's become a beast. Forget football. They're untouchable. But the growth of basketball over the last 25 years, the growth of hockey over the last 25 years, the growth of soccer over the last 25 years, guess what? Has come at the expense of baseball. It just has. There used to be 2 monoliths in sports over the last 50 years. It's now just one in football, and everybody else is fighting for theirs, and baseball's fighting with everybody else. Now, they make money hand over fist because they've got so many games and their television contracts, but even that, Michael, with these regionals all folding up, reaction after COVID, I mean, it's a different world now. So, yeah, they did it over the last 25 years, but can you really afford to do it now in the place that baseball is? I mean, you just had a World Series, Michael, nobody watched. You're just coming off a World Series, no one watched. So can you afford to do this now?
Now, Jeremy, I do sort of agree with Jeremy on Twitter.
What does Jeremy say?
He spoke in class today.
He says, tell Kay and Don they sound like Gil. No one cares other than them. They come back and it's still spring training. So it's spring training adjacent. Opening day will still be opening day. No one cares.
Well, you think Dodger fans that wanted to see Ohtani's first hit, you think they care that it was 3 in the morning in LA, and they want to see Yamamoto's first game? It's going to be 3 in the morning in LA. Ask Jeremy. Ask your pal Jeremy that. Forget about Michael and Don and Gil.
Hey, and you know what? He's saying nobody cares. Our problem is
we care.
That nobody cares.
Our problem is we care.
There's a lot of people out there that don't even know these games actually count. Is that a good thing?
No.
You can, again, anybody who's in the sports industry that didn't know, shame on them. But my point is, if you're just a fan, A lot of people don't even know the season started today. This is the start of the season. There's supposed to be pomp and circumstance to it. As Don said earlier, in Cincinnati, they used to have this wondrous parade. Cincinnati always the first team to open. Well, now they've had everybody's going to open on the 28th, except for the Dodgers and the Padres, with the biggest star in the world playing at 3 in the morning back in his home state. Tell Jeremy to shut up.
Yeah.
First of all, Jeremy, Gil's fake.
How about this?
For God's sakes, Rob, wake up.
And lastly,
I am here.
I felt so bad for him.
Griffin.
I am here.
Yeah, we got to get Griffin some better help.
He has so many different sounds, Griffin, though.
Wait a minute, you think Griff needs therapy?
No, we got to give him some help, better help.
The best kind of help, as you're saying. Okay, got
Donna in Schenectady. What's up, Donna?
Hi, guys. I can't believe I made it on the show. This is really off topic, but I have a couple of comments from 2 of your past shows.
Okay.
The first one's about hot tubs. I have to agree with Jody. I'm not a fan of hot tubs. I was in one once, and I just felt like someone was boiling me for dinner. That's how I felt.
I mean, that's a little dramatic, Donna.
But
that's how I felt. It was burning me.
Well, it was too hot.
My husband was in it. He says, just get in quick. And I was like, I feel like somebody's boiling me for dinner. Okay, so the other is about having your eyes open when you're kissing.
Like I do, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went out with a guy once, a long time ago, way before I was married, and he insisted that I keep my eyes open.
Oh, he wanted you to keep your eyes open.
Really?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, his were too. He wanted me looking in his eyes.
I think that's pretty hot.
Oh, no, it was creepy.
Of course.
Thank you.
I never went out with him again. Never saw him again.
Can you imagine, Donna, if he insisted that you keep your eyes open while you guys are kissing in a hot tub? It would have been hell.
Right.
Oh, my God. Can I just say one more thing?
Yes,
please. We like you,
I
Donna.
just want to give a shout out to my son Brian, who talked me into watching your show, which I had never done, and now I never miss it. I tape it every day.
Wow!
Love you guys.
Thank you, Donna.
I never miss it.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
And give the hot tub another
Thank
try,
you.
because Jody doesn't dislike the hot tub because of the heat. She thinks it's a boiling, festering, pile of germs. That's why she doesn't like it.
I like it hot, and I find it very relaxing.
Some do.
Now, if all of a sudden
that's
somebody's
brilliant.
standing over
That's
and you-
brilliant, Peter.
Thank you.
Now, if somebody's standing over you chopping carrots and celery, then I would get out because
Like what they did. That's what Kramer did.
Yeah, that wasn't. Nobody should be bathing in their food.
By the way, Griffin's call keeps growing.
I am here. Rob Manford, once again.
Rob Manford's not that far off. I mean, that's close. You call someone is that a flub? If someone says Manford?
Manford?
Rob Manford, once
You know
again.
what? I did it for years, and I now I make myself slow down and go Manfred. But I'm not going to rip him for that.
Oh yeah, I don't think you can.
No,
you can't
it would be
hold him
unfair to
accountable.
do that.
It's not right.
Let's go to Nas in Queens. Nas.
So I actually think what baseball's goal is to expand the viewership. They're doing the right thing because they've already lost it here in this country. I'm thinking about when I started watching baseball, which was in the early 90s. I was restricted to, a few channels on TV because they were the basic cable. I couldn't afford regular cable. Of that, 2 of the channels are always occupied by the Mets and Yankees. These days, it's a lot different. Everybody has different choices to watch as opposed to watching baseball. I was kind of forced into watching baseball, and I fell in love with it. But now the game's changed, and I don't watch it anymore. I mean, I have a 16-year-old son who refuses to even want to attend the game because he thinks it's so boring. So I think they're actually going to a market where that they can affect a lot easier.
So you think it's better they throw their hands up and say, well, we've lost America. Let's try to get the rest of the world? I don't think the rest of the world would like baseball like that. Not like America does.
Well,
Then go to a place but Nas, go somewhere like London where it's an untapped market. It sounds like South Korea can't get enough of baseball. They love it. Their stars are playing here. So it's just the money grab. If you want to expand the sport, then the London made sense.
I don't think London's ever going to happen.
I have no problem with them playing games overseas. I don't. I just have a problem with the optics of opening your sports season in anonymity. There should be a celebration of the beginning of the season. Work it out that you go another time. Do what Jennifer Hart on Twitter said. Do the All-Star game there. It's smart. It's forward-thinking. But to take the game away from Dodger and Padre fans, they didn't watch today at 3 in the morning. They did not watch. They were sleeping.
But you know what the problem is, Michael, honestly, and we talk about money grab as a negative. Rob Manfred's in a really tough spot. He works for the owners. Owners of Major League Baseball are very transient now. The days of family-owned like you have with the Steinbrenners, it's over. Guys own things for like 5-6 years, and they sell it for double the money they paid for it, and they're out. So they're not looking to grow the game, Michael. They don't care what it's going to look like in 10 years. They want to live in the now. So they want to grab whatever money they can, divvy it up by 30, and then move on to the next money grab. Because in a few years, they're going to put their team up for sale and sell it most of the time for double what they paid for it. So I don't think there's anybody vestedly interested in growing this sport. Right? I mean, Manfred's going to be out in a few years. All the owners, half of them, are going to probably be different owners within the next 5 or 6 years. So does anybody care what baseball looks like 30 years from now?
Peter, this one's for you, baby. This one's for you.
Well.
This is from Biggie Smalls Goat, or Goat Biggie is his name.
Okay.
So are we doing MAGA baseball today? How dare they not start the season in America, even though the best player in the game, hands down, is from Japan? Is this the entire show today? Just want to know if I could check out. You can check out whenever you want, bud. It's not the entire show. We've been talking about it since 4. We talked football the first hour.
Does he think that the reason people are saying it didn't make sense as the opener, even though I don't care about it nearly as much as you guys do, to defend you guys, he thinks that the reason you guys saying this is because like you're xenophobic and you don't want the game?
No, I want people in the country to see it. I want Dodger fans to see it. That, by the way, that could be a first, Peter. A show that you're on is now being accused of being MAGA-centric.
No, you don't know what people accuse me of. You have no idea what I. That's not true.
Not once during these last few minutes did anybody suggest that we felt that baseball was being unpatriotic.
Or that you don't want international support for the game.
No, we were saying I'd understand it more in London. And also, South Korea is not Japan.
What, in terms of what?
Well, he was just saying the biggest stars from Japan. Well,
it's about a half-hour flight.
Hey, listen, it's not. I'm just saying, if we're going to be divvying up countries here, let's get it.
It is literally. That is significant.
Anthony Perry goes, baseball should do it like European soccer does. They should play exhibition games overseas. The Premier League clubs have more money than God, yet they continue to play games in the U.S. in the offseason. Gee, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
You know what you could have done? You know what you could have done?
They're exhibition games.
You know what you could have done? You could have taken, if you really wanted to get into it, you could have taken 3 or 4 teams over there during spring training and let them kind of rotate around with each other for like a week. You could have done a lot of stuff that still would have really resulted in positive things. That's not having opening day. Again, I think I'd be curious to hear from a Dodger fan, like if they were really bummed out. And what did Ohtani do, by the way?
He had 2 hits.
So that is a bummer. You don't get to see his first hits as a Dodger. But I do wonder, if you would really, really care. Because if you're, here we go. If you're hardcore to the point that you would literally be like, I can't believe I missed his first hit as a Dodger, aren't you finding a way to watch it?
But if you have a job, you're not. You can't get up at 3 in the morning. Obviously, you're going to see it on Sports Center, and you can DVR the game, but come on.
If you're that hardcore, though, where you're going to be upset about it, I don't know. Maybe you do just stay up and watch it and make a thing out of it. Just saying.
Make a thing out of it. So 2 days in a row, you want to see Ohtani get his first hits, and then you're going to stay up again to see Yamamoto's first pitch, and then you'll get fired from your job.
I like what Jose said. Not only did they have it at 3 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, but they did it smack dab in the middle of the week, Wednesday morning and tomorrow morning. Like they couldn't do it on a Saturday and Sunday?
Real quick, guys, hold on. What time is it in Seoul, South Korea? So it's currently 5:43 a.m. So it's 13 hours ahead of us.
So why couldn't they have started
16 hours ahead?
Well, if it's good enough to spit in the face of the Dodger fans, why couldn't they have started the game in Seoul, Korea at 10 in the morning? So the game could have been played at night.
They wouldn't even have to do 10 in the morning, Michael. They could have done 1 p.m.
1 p.m., which is a normal start time, because they didn't want to upset the Seoul Koreans because they're in the middle of their workday. If you started at 1 p.m., wouldn't it be prime time here?
Maybe they couldn't. Maybe they know you can't draw on a weekday. I have no idea. But seems like it could have been done a little better. And honestly, here's the thing I'll say.
Say it.
You shouldn't even be thinking about the rest of the country, though. I'm sorry, guys. That part, if you were going to prioritize Don an American audience, the only thing they should have been thinking about was LA and San Diego.
But
there's no need to think about the rest of the country.
The most marketable, sellable player in baseball right now is Shohei Ohtani.
I get it.
He's of the ilk of a LeBron James.
Yes, but he's not of the clamor in America of LeBron James yet.
Yeah, and you know what? He's not going to be if he's playing at 3 in the morning.
Touche. Did he point guard? Perhaps.
Peter, we talked about it earlier. Tell us how to get better help.